Okay, this is a relic tier list updated until season 5. So as you can see, the tier is changed a little bit. Now there's A, B, C, D, and spare, better spare, and super spare. So yes, I do think chest is a better spare. So there are some reasons for that. So in my previous tier list, I think they are in the same tier, and now I think chest is better than spare because some update in my knowledge. First is that this is very important because basically it means that each time you cast a relic, there's a 40% chance that it will trigger twice. And it has a condition of deploying a hero each 4 different faction synergy. And this one is actually easier to trigger than you think because that this royal synergy also count as a faction synergy. So if you have royal and a celestial and a demon and then another random non-D&D synergy, you can trigger the uh, forbidden chest effect. Another thing is it's the same as spare. It instantly restore 100 energy, and this one is same as spare, but it additionally grants max HP to all allies for 2 rounds. So this granting max HP is stackable, whereas spare it will grant you attack. The attack that is given by spare is not stackable, but the max HP by the forbidden chest is stackable. So that's why it's another plus for the forbidden chest. And this passive that reduces the relic energy of enemy can also have its impact in PvP combat. So it doesn't affect anything in PvE because enemy doesn't have relics energy. But in PvP, this one is also quite impactful. So that's another plus for the forbidden chest. And there are some minus for the Zephyr Sphere now that my knowledge of the game is updated. So this one, casting Zephyr Sphere increased the physical damage reduction of all allies by 100%. So this one, like it, if you read it, if you understand it literally, it means that it will reduce the incoming physical damage by 100%, which means that your team will be immune to physical damage. And that is not the case. What it actually means is if your units have the ability to reduce physical damage, and that reduced physical damage effect will increase by 100%. So it's confusing, but I can show you an example. So if you have Ariana, so Ariana has a ability that has a passive ability. When Ariana is deployed, she increases your ally's physical damage reduction by 40%. So if you have Ariana and you also have spare, the spare will increase the physical damage reduction provided by Ariana by 100%, which means that now your team will have physical damage reduction increased by 80%. So your team will have like 80% physical damage reduction if you have both spare and Ariana. But if you don't have Ariana and you only have spare, then you don't increase any physical damage reduction. So other heroes that also provide physical damage reductions are Merlin and Athena. So it's actually Merlin's exclusive room and Athena's exclusive room. So if you have the exclusive room of Merlin and or Athena, then you will also increase physical damage. And so for Athena, mine is at epic level and it's increased by 30%. If you have Athena and you also have spare, you will have physical damage reduction for 60%. But if you don't have Athena, don't have Merlin, nor Ariana, nor Illyrian, then you won't have any physical damage reduction. So if you play spare alone, you don't get any physical damage reduction. So yeah, another unit, this one is not that useful, is uh, Illyrian. So Illyrian will increase physical damage reduction by 40% at legendary level. But since Illyrian is not a good hero, don't intentionally get Illyrian's exclusive room. And I get this for free, but just don't intentionally buy them in the shop. Yeah, this shop, the Celestial shop. Don't buy Illyrian in Celestial shop. Okay, so that's one downside for Spare. Is that this one it's not as good as it looks like. But yes, Spare is still pretty good, but I do think Forbidden Chest is way better than Spare. And then we can move on to the two new relic or two new Spare because they're also Spare. They just like Forbidden Chest and Defer Spare, they instantly restore 100% energy and increase the relic damage of all allies by 150%. So okay, so these two new relic, they are just broken. So I suggest the dev, if they are watching this or they read my suggestion box, like input, I think they should nerf these two new relic before they are released because they are too broken. And once you release it, they can't nerf it without like making the players who already bought them mad. So I strongly suggest that they nerf these. So they're really good. So let's see. So let's look at the not the most broken one first. Let's look at this one. So Underwood Key. So it deal damage to lowest HP enemies. So this is at max level, but like by reading the max level effect, you can have a sneak peek of they are in the middle because technically we don't have the information in the middle right now. So like we don't have any information on what does a 3-star Underworld Key do. So this one is the standard. It deals damage to the lowest health enemy, nothing special, but it has an ability of after casting relic. This is the core of this relic. Summon 5 Nether Flame to strike random enemy, dealing 2% damage equal to their max health. So this could mean that it's really good against bosses because bosses has very high HP and dealing damage based on their max health could be really good. But this 5 Nether Flame also does something special because each Nether Flame has a 80% chance to apply stun. So this means that in PvP, this relic will also have the chance to stun enemies. And keep in mind, this is an energy relic. It's a spare. It restores 100 energy instantly, and also increase the relic damage of all the allied relics. So it has a power level of a burst relic. So for those who don't know, the recovery relic, their main purpose should be generating energy, and the relic on slot 2, their main purpose should be being broken and have like insanely strong effect, and the relic on slot 3 should be like resetting relic CD. So recovery relic and chrono relic shouldn't be very OP, but they are in the case of Underworld Key. So that's why I think it's way too good. But yeah, this is the Underworld Key. This one is not as broken as the banner. So I'd say the Underworld Key is same power level as the Forbidden Chest. But the most broken one, I think, is the Flame Banner because it applies 10 stack of Holy Shield on all your allies. So if you are familiar with my tier list of the epic relic, the best one is the Chaos Blade. So Chaos Blade doesn't generate any energy, and it's cost 80 energy at max level, and all it does is applying 2 stack of Holy Shield to all allies. But this relic, this banner relic, it applies 10 stack of Holy Shield to all your allies. So that's why I think it's like way too good. But on top of this, it also increased the relic damage of all allied relics by 50%. So it increases relic damage. And on top of this, it also like grants the deity slayer effect, which means that your allies will ignoring 100% of defense when attacking a target. So it also turn all your damage into true damage. So so all this is also a energy generating relic. It's also a spare. So that's why I think it's like way too good. I hope they nerf this before it's released. But if they don't fix this, they don't nerf this relic, then just abuse this to your own advantage because it's really broken. Okay, so another relic I want to mention is the Cauldron. So the Cauldron is actually really good as well. So after casting for next one round, the damage received by all allies will be absorbed by the Cauldron, and the absorbed damage will be then distributed among the frontline allies over the next two rounds. So this one is like absorbing the damage by your like backline and distribute it to the front line. But what actually it does is that it will like make your team immune to damage for one round, and the damage will be delayed. But at one round, a lot can happen. So if you have a really high damage team, you can have the Cauldron activate on round one or round two, depends on the enemy team actually. So if the enemy team doesn't do any damage on round one, you can try to manipulate the energy to make it activate on round two. So at that round, you are immune to damage, and if your team has high damage and you can manage to kill all enemies in that round, so essentially the the cauldron will give you damage immunity effect. So what I'm trying to say is like you can have a high damage team that can kill enemy in one round, but you can try to you can combine it to with the cauldron so that your enemies cannot kill you in one round. So basically, this is to combine with a glass cannon team. So yeah, that's a better way to say it. So is a really good. And again, this is a chrono relic. Relic shouldn't have this like broken effect because their main purpose should be resetting the CD of other relics. So yeah, Cauldron is really good. If it weren't for the spare meme, I would actually put it here just to let you know. But yeah, for the sake of the meme, and it's actually debatable, so that I put it in A tier along with the demonic whip. The demonic whip is also pretty good because it grants HP to your team, uh, as well as like making sanctuary has like 35% chance to not disappear when like attacked. So sanctuary is basically a invisible holy shield that it can block one instance of damage and also one instance of debuff. So this can make that the sanctuary after blocking the damage and the debuff, it will not disappear. So that's pretty good. And yeah, it also increases the max HP for your team, and this max HP is also stackable. So yeah, it's being a chrono relic, and it's the effect is pretty good. So that's why like I put it in the A tier. And for the other relics, I think I overrated this Gourd. So for Gourd, it's only good if you have Wukong because it switches the position of all surviving allies. And even Dahlia can also benefit from switching position, but not by a lot. So it's basically just for Wukong. If you don't have Wukong, then it's worse than the hammer. So and being a new relic, the gourd is actually a lot harder to get. So yeah, if you are not a Wukong main, then I don't recommend like getting a lot of the gourd. But if you do have Wukong, this is pretty good. And the reducing accuracy rate by 10%, it's not even that good because like the it's too little. It's doing too little compared to the like the super spare that grant 10 stack of holy shield. This part of the reason this is bad is because it's a burst relic. So burst relic are supposed to have all the broken effect because it doesn't reset CD and it doesn't generating any energy. So yeah, Gourd I overrated this a little bit in my previous tier list, and it should be only in B tier. Actually, you know what? I think it might be in C tier. Yeah. So if you have, if you don't have Wukong, then the hammer is definitely better. And even if you do, maybe hammer is still better. So yeah, this might be in C tier, honestly. Yeah, and that's the tier list. So yeah, I hope they nerf the two new relics before they are released, the so that the game is still balanced. But if not, then we can use this imbalance to our advantage. So yeah, thanks for watching.